Would you move houses to save your marriage? Here's the setup. You have a new job, a new house, a new neighborhood. Everything is new and shiny. And the neighborhood is very nice, and the house is very nice, and the company car is very nice, and the position is very nice, and everything looks really good on the surface. But there's a problem. With this new position comes new responsibilities, and you're gone a lot. The weekends are nice, but your kids know their sports coaches better than they know you. And your wife wants her husband back. But you're watching your friends put in the hours and get ahead. Of course, guys don't really talk about their marriage as much until they blow up. But back to the question. Would you move houses to save your marriage? If things got to the point where you couldn't imagine how the puzzle pieces would fit. Where are those chess pieces going to go? I'm trying to cut back in this way and that way. And the strain of owning this home is putting pressure on my marriage and my family, and something's got to give. What do? Well, there's only three answers. No, yes, and maybe. So if you say no, well, then you're done, right? You just might as well sign the divorce papers, because if you can't imagine leaving the house, then say goodbye to the family that makes it a home. If you say maybe, well, that's better, but there's a tell there, because if you say maybe, you're going to try and make it work for another 5 to 10 years, by which point the decision is made for you. You have to say yes. It has to be a militant, emphatic yes. You've got to say, all right, I'm going to get rid of the country club membership. I'm going to sell the house. We're going to move into an apartment. I'm going to do whatever I have to do and let my friends laugh and let them talk behind my back. And did you hear about whoever? And I'm going to hold on to her, and I'm going to hold on to the family. Right? That's what you do. You have to say, yes, I would move houses to save my marriage. That's where the church finds itself in 2025. We have these structures that we've had for a long time, and they've worked for a long time. And they are the building, the fact that there's a stage in that building where a special class of people do most of the talking and singing, and then everybody else comes in, sits in rows, they stand, they sing, they listen, and they leave. And for hundreds of years, that has been church. And it doesn't really matter what denomination, it looks different in each denomination. But broadly speaking, those four structures, having a building, having a stage, having a special class of people who do all the talking and singing while everybody else sits in rows facing forward, that's church. Would you change that to save the relationship? Some churches say, no, that's our identity. This is what church is. It's blasphemy to think of it any other way. Some churches would say, I don't think we have to. I think if we tinker around the edges, I think if we buy a new leadership book for the team, we can get away with doing little stuff, but we don't have to make any drastic changes. The answer should be yes. Whether or not you make big sweeping changes, the answer should be, yeah, I would do whatever it took to save the relationship. And for the last 15 years, my family and I have done church in a home because there had to be a break. There had to be a shift. Something was off about the way that we had done church in the past. And I should mention, I'm a third generation pastor's kid, so I know what it means to live and breathe church. I thought that was going to be my job. But for the last 15 years, we've done church in a home. We've done it very differently. None of those four structures exist anymore in our church, and it's been fantastic. And I'm writing a book about that. It's called The Worship Homestead: How God is Using House Churches to Grow More Fruitful Christians. But I can save you a lot of time. If you're interested in the book, you would know, because you would answer yes to that question. If you answer no or maybe, then, well, okay, the book's not for you. But what I'm going to show you in the next few weeks as I go through each chapter and share with you kind of the high points, the big thoughts in the book, is why there has to be a change, why there has to be a shift in the way that we do church. Because it turns out that the way that we've done church for hundreds of years doesn't actually grow more fruitful Christians. And we're finding very recently that there are mechanisms, there's science behind what transforms a person's life. And lo and behold, the way that it was done in the early church has a lot to do with why it worked. So I'll get into all of that in future posts. But the first question is, would you change church up if it came between you and your God? Would you change it up and do something different in order to save the relationship? Well, if the answer is yes, then stay tuned because there's more on the way. Thanks for listening. God bless. Goodbye.